I mean, I like Bushwick. This is where I was raised, where my kids are being raised. My mother was raised here. But you know, it could be better. You know, crime could be lower.
10 years ago, I mean, it wasn't a night that went by without gunshots. Wasn't one night. I mean, I even participated in
You know, the corporate organizations which offered the most employment in Bushwick were the drug-selling organizations.
Yes, it has changed. Some good, some bad. You know, I've seen the drugs come and go. I think the drugs is declining, and being that they like building all these new homes, you know, neighborhood looks a little bit better, more homes, less empty lots.
There's been a lot of building. That's incredibly political, all of that stuff that's gone on. You know, it's all houses. Let's see how that works out. I'm curious, you know, who can afford to live in them?
Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real, Brooklyn. Got to keep it real, Brooklyn. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real when you deal with.
Inside this place, and the top narcotics guy from North Brooklyn could sit in his office and look up Wilson to the fellows that were standing on the corner of Willoughby dealing heroin. All right, I mean, and they were up there dealing heroin, knowing full well that the police were just down the block and able to look out their window right at them and see what they were doing. So, in some ways, the police weren't really able to get rid of the problem in the way that they wanted to do it. But the business definitely was transformed, you know.
That's against the code.
What's the code?
It's code. It's a little secret code of the street. You do not talk. You do not. If you get robbed, you do not report it. If you get into a fight, you do not tell. If you get shot, you do not tell. You retaliate. It's code of the streets.
Like the people that was considered soft then were like people who didn't get in trouble. And I didn't consider that soft. Me, I considered that smart. I considered that the way it should have been. Because I wish I never would have gotten into no really problem. But growing up how we grew up, it just was gonna happen that way. You know, you don't get to pick and choose what it's gonna be.
Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real, Brooklyn. Got to keep it real, Brooklyn. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real when you deal with them brook now. Got to keep it real, Brooklyn. Got to keep it real, Brooklyn. Got to keep it real when you